Um, and you are now live.
Oh my goodness, everybody. Welcome to the long-awaited and eagerly anticipated premiere of the JLJ Media, the Acolyte recap and review show right here. As always, we've assembled our Star Wars, uh, I guess our quadruplets, but uh, our head quadruplet, I guess is out for the day. James Lott Jr. uh, due to circumstances beyond his control, was not able to get to see these episodes. So he will be just merely our forced presence in this episode. But fear not, faithful JLJ Media viewers, for those of you that can't get enough of James Lott Jr., like all of us, we may see his face before this show ends. Ooh. But as always, we've got myself, we've got John, we've got Kim. We are reunited to break down the first three episodes of The Acolyte, which is on Disney Plus. The first two episodes premiered last week, uh, and yesterday's the third episode premiered yesterday. So we're breaking down all three as we weren't able to be here for the two episode premiere. So Kim, just in case
Yes.
the internet gods are not in our favor tonight, and we disconnect, we'll make
Yes.
sure. What did you think of
Overall, I'm pleasantly surprised. I honestly was kind of okay, it's a Star Wars show. I'll watch it because I love Star Wars, but I wasn't super oh, sorry, my cat's going insane. Cosmo, come here. Cosmo, get down. You're not on this show. Um I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm I don't know how into it I'm gonna be because there's no Grogu, so you know. But I 15 minutes in, I was like, okay, this is something new and special, and I really like this. I like the tone they're setting. I like all of the things that they're doing and really digging into what I think are just like really deep problems with the whole Jedi way and addressing that. So I was pleasantly surprised.
nice, John, as a Star Wars lover, and are you a high, kind of like the High Republic era Star Wars fan?
No, I don't really know a ton about the High Republic, to be honest. But it's an area that I've always wanted to learn more about. So I was like very excited when they announced that this show would kind of cover the events before, the main saga that we've gotten. And sort of like Kim said, like just the fact that this is something so, it feels so new and so fresh. Like obviously it's still going to have connections to the Skywalker saga. Like we'll see if we get any mentions of Darth Plagueis or anything like that, in this series. But this feels like the newest sort of like Star Wars material we've gotten in a very long time. Um, I think about like The Mandalorian and that being sort of separate, and then now since then, The Mandalorian has gotten cameos from Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka, and it's really tied it in. This so far feels like another brand new thing that is totally separate. There's not a Skywalker in sight. As much as I love all the Skywalkers, and I love that whole storyline, like this feels so new. And so far, I feel like I've really enjoyed it. I'm liking the music and the visuals. Um, obviously, I think we probably all saw a lot of the negative attention that the show was getting before it even came out.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm honestly loving it. And the big thing for me that has made me so interested in this show is hearing from like the cast themselves and how hard they wanted to work, like talking about how much they wanted the fight scenes to be as fast as the prequels and stuff like that. Um, and just getting this really cool diverse cast with a new story, and it seems like they're all super into it. So far I've really been digging it, and the story itself seems very interesting to me with what we've gotten in the first three episodes.
Well, yeah, as you were saying, John, I mean, there certainly has been a lot of thought and commentary about the show out there. Some people enjoying it, some people are not. One of the criticisms is that even though we're dealing in the High Republic era, we're seeing Jedis, and at least from these first three episodes, kind of behaving very similar with the same sort of kind of blind spots that they had all the way even to the prequel films, which seems like to them kind of frustrating because it's like, well, we already know that the Jedi, if they're if they're already that far back and they still are still just as messed up, what why are we watching? Does that bother you at all?
Mhm.
I mean, so this is what's interesting to me is that I feel like we got to where we were in the prequels with the Jedi Order, but it didn't just get that way overnight. Like I feel like it's interesting to me. Like I know where we're heading, and I know that we're seeing a different era of Star Wars and new Jedi and all that. But like I feel like along the way to get to the prequels, things had to have happened. And I think that on this in this story, we're going to focus on one of those things, where it feels like, the Jedi are at the height of their power, and clearly there's something that they had to cover up here. And it's just another bump along the way to where we ended up getting to the prequels. I don't know. To me, it doesn't bother me, honestly. I can see why that would be a complaint for some people, but to me, I just think it's another interesting look at how the Jedi got to where they were when we ended up at the prequels eventually, because a lot of I feel like messed up crap had to go on to actually get to that point. So if this is a cool kind of like thriller sort of murder mystery, or you know and like it turns into this Jedi cover up that helps lead to where we get to the original, the main saga with the prequels. Like I'm all for it personally.
How about you, Kim?
Yeah, same. I love just this exploration of the problems with the whole Jedi Order, the Jedi way, and just seeing that it's if they don't learn their lessons, they're doomed to repeat themselves, and we're seeing them starting to repeat themselves even as 100 years previous. So it's um yeah, they just it's very, very interesting because I a friend was talking about, I said I recognize, more of the Sith in me, to be honest. And I said, yeah, I said, well, if you think about it, you literally have to be a psychopath to be a good Jedi. I mean, literally, like, no empathy, no attachments, no feelings. You don't, it doesn't register how other people feel, and you don't feel for other people because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be afraid. And it's just like, that's a big ask for, I'm going to say humans, even though it's more than humans, but human or people. And it's a huge ask to do it right. And almost all of the Jedi have, you know, fallen off the wagon, so to speak, at least once. And it's understandable because that's their human side coming out. And that's actually when we like them more. And and I know we haven't gotten to episode 3 of this show yet, but it took a very interesting turn to where it was like, okay, um, I sort of see, why the Jedi aren't necessarily the bad guys of this show, but maybe they are. We're not sure. And I like it's keeping me on my toes, that's for sure.
Well, certainly for our, as you're both saying, this is a murder mystery of sorts. It seems, at least it seems to be, about what happened 16 years ago on this planet, Brendrock.
I think Brendock or something. I think.
Brendock. There you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
With our two twins, May and Osha, and the witches that were on that planet as well, that are kind of hiding there because they've been kind of shunned by everyone else, and so they're kind of wanting to just practice their witchcraft, hang out with their coven, raise these two kids in their teachings without any kind of intrusions by the Jedi or anybody else. But we start off though 16 years later, kind of present day for our series, where we see uh, one twin, May, comes in with a bone to pick with Carrie-Anne Moss, who a great addition to the Star Wars roster of characters, yet sadly not for long.
Yes.
John, as a person who's binged The Matrix more times than you can count, what was it like being able to see Carrie-Anne Moss? She's got those moves like the Jedi.
For
I'm
real.
actually
Yeah.
I'm about to say something. I've actually never seen The Matrix.
Oh, but now
Oh, really?
on this show. All right. Well,
All right.
that's it.
Well,
That's a
see,
wrap for
see
Wait a
the
me.
minute.
first,
Wait, I have to come on for
see
that
the
one.
first one.
Wait a minute. I
See
have to
the,
come on. I have
No,
to come on the show for a second.
see
You
the
ain't
first
never
one.
seen. You ain't never seen even the first Matrix.
no.
Oh
Like
my
everybody in
God.
the world has seen it. Like that's like everyone has seen it. You haven't
I
seen
know.
it.
I think that's why I haven't.
Yeah, I'm not going to see something that everybody else has ever seen. Forget that.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
I'll do something that's kind of a little bit more, select and not many people know about, like Star Wars.
Yeah. You know, it's very, yeah.
All
It's an
right. All
indie
right.
film. It's an indie film.
I'll get with the times. I'll get with the times.
That's okay. I've never seen Avatar and don't have
Okay.
plans to ever see it.
Okay.
So there, that's my nerd confession.
All right.
So for me, constantly telling you, Kim, that I see you is now just going to fall on deaf ears. Uh, this is not going to have that resonance, the Avatar resonance to back it up.
I feel like it was Pocahontas, and if you just watch that movie, it's the same thing.
I
Except
feel
they're
like,
not blue.
yeah, Matrix is a movie where if everybody says like you should watch it, you should listen because it's great. But
Yeah,
Avatar, if like people saying you should watch it, not really. It's fine.
yeah.
It's
I feel like I'm not missing anything.
yeah, and you're not.
Yeah. I will
It's
say I did watch the first Avatar movie. Oh, I only watched about half of the first Avatar movie because I watched it with a girl and then lost interest quickly.
in the girl or the movie or both.
The movie.
Okay, the girl.
And then I got mono. So cheers.
Oh,
Yay!
That was a long time ago. A lot of information. I'm giving out a lot of information.
uh, well, hopefully, John, that you do see The Matrix at some point. Like Kim said, there are four movies there. You're good with just the one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. I'm
yeah.
in. I'm down. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
because then you can just see the first one, and then at the end you go like, "Oh man, I bet you they did a bunch of awesome stuff in the next movies," and then just let that feeling be the only thing that you need.
Mm-mm. You
Just
just
believe,
pretend.
just believe that feeling, and never try to watch the other movies to see if you were right.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Don't
right.
don't ever look at them. Don't do it.
Just don't do
Yeah.
it.
Just don't do it. Just like I won't show my son Alien 3 or 4. I'm like, no. I'm like, just no. I'm like, we're stopping. And I let him watch it. Was it Prometheus? I was like, nah, you don't need to do that one either. But Covenant, just because it was just gore and action monster flick. And it really didn't have any bearing on anything. But it was just a good gore fest. And so we ordered pizza and watched that. And I said, yeah, he's like, well, how's this tied to the other film? And I said, I don't know. Didn't really matter.
Prometheus is a film that has so much like promise, but the film frustrates me to all end, and yet I still cannot completely.
Oh, I think we have a frozen Frank.
Uh-oh. God, what is going on the internet tonight?
Yeah, there's been a lot of issues.
It's like I'm gonna go on AOL and do my dial-up and see if it'll
Oh.
work better.
Frank,
Yes,
you froze on us for a sec.
I know. I was collecting my thoughts.
But we're back. We're back.
I know, because I totally took you guys off topic talking about Avatar and the
I think
Matrix.
I took us off topic.
No, this is all this is what people come to JLJ Media for, the tangents that we go on as we're trying to recap an episode of television. So yes, so Carrie Ann Moss, uh, John Dunphy, you have no particular attachment to Carrie Ann Moss, yet did you enjoy seeing her as Jedi Master Indara?
Oh, absolutely. And I still know who she is, of course, the actress. And I got to tell you, right from the beginning, I've gotten these vibes from her. I don't know if they're just trying to throw us off, but like that, there's something dark about her. Like the way that she was portrayed in that first scene in this cantina, looking like a mob boss, like surrounded by like these laughing patrons, all drinking. Like there was just something about her. Like it, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I really like her character. Did not expect her to be killed. I knew we would get her more in flashbacks and stuff, but to just have her get killed like that in the very first scene, I thought set the stakes really high right away. Definitely,
Mhm.
grabbed me into the story. Um, and yeah, the vibes that I'm getting from her, I'm so curious and excited to learn more about her character here because there's definitely more to her. Um, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Kim, do you
it's
agree?
almost like she expected May to walk in the room. I mean, it was almost like, "Oh, you're here. I knew you were going to show up." And it was
Mm.
like, "How did you know?" You know, there's something. Yeah, she was like, "Oh yeah, I've got this coming." And the storm has been coming for a while. And
Right.
here she is. And so I'm like, yeah, there's just something a little not quite
Right.
right there.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess you don't cast Carrie Ann Moss, just for like one kind of glorified cameo at the top of a series,
Right.
and
Mm.
not really expect to see her have some sort of kind of uh, major part to play in our story. At least I'm hoping. So that's the case that
Yeah.
we'll see
Yeah.
more as the what happened 16 years ago is fully revealed. But we see the two of them duke it out, and Adara gets killed. But interestingly enough, as much as May is constantly grabbing for Jedi's lightsabers, anytime she kind of fights them, she leaves. And Dara's just laying there on the ground. I was expecting her to pick it up as she left, but she just leaves it there and takes off. John, did you notice, like, I mean, the constantly trying for the lightsaber, and yet when she has the opportunity to take it, she doesn't?
Yeah, like it seemed to me like she dropped it after that first fight with Endara because it wouldn't have been like earned in a way, I guess. Like it seems like she in combat is trying to disarm a Jedi. Like it has to be done the right way. Almost the same way as like you think of like the like the dark saber or whatever, right? Like you have to earn that. You have to fight the person that has it in order for it to be yours. They can't just give it to you. And like I almost think of it like the same way here with May, where it's like she has to earn the lightsaber in a specific way. I know they keep talking about how, oh, you have to kill a Jedi without a weapon or what, whatever the case may be. And she used knives in the fight with Endara. Maybe it's that. I don't know 100% for sure, but um I do feel like it's something along those lines. It's not as easy as just like, however, you can get the lightsaber, just take it, it's yours. It's got to be done in a specific way that's like acceptable to May's master, whoever that may be.
Kim, are you thinking that May needs to grab it, and then does she just like throw it really far away so that the Jedi just can't summon it back to them? I don't know what exactly she would do, like if she were to able to pull it off a Jedi's body.
Yeah, I don't know what she would do with it either. Yeah, it was almost like she she just wasn't allowed to touch it, but at the same time kind of wanted to check it out. I don't know. I'm not real sure. Yeah, May is definitely an interesting character because yeah, the third episode I was like, "Child, what is your problem?" Oh my
I
god.
I do like her battle announcement though when she gets in whenever she's ready to fight a Jedi, she's like, attack me. She does her pose, tells him to attack her.
Uh-huh.
with
And so far,
all of
nobody's
your
biting yet.
power.
Yeah, nobody's biting. Everybody's just like, okay, whatever. Sure.
Yeah. And Torben just straight up, I'm just gonna keep meditating here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So she is dead, and of course, you can't kill a Jedi with a hole without causing consequences. So we do find out, though, we see the same girl. We find out Osha. She's just working on different freighters as a mech. It's just a human astromech, or it's because they're more fun to be around. So than just a bunch of droids all the time. Uh, when two Jedis show up, one that she knew when at her time when she was uh, training to be a Jedi, but then had fallen out and had left the Jedi practice, and another Jedi who's just very officious and by the book. That's it. Just like, what's your deal? Where were you? Who are you? What are you doing? So on that Jedi, I guess Padawan to to our kind of Jedi rooster. Uh, uh, Kim, were you digging the connection between Osha and this Jedi that shows up to interrogate her?
I thought it was really interesting. I had been looking forward to um I can't remember his the actor's name, but from Squid Game. I was really looking forward to seeing him as a Jedi. And when he shows up, it's like he's sorry, my now the dog is panting and making noise. Tank, stop. Oh my God.
They've got Star Wars thoughts to share as well. I
Yes, he does. He has a lot of feelings. Oh my God. He just wants his dinner is what he wants. Um, because he's a bulldog and he always wants to eat. So that's his thing if he's not napping. So yeah, when he showed up, it was very reminiscent of Obi-Wan. I liked he was very thoughtful, and his Padawan was like, that's her. Let's get her right now. Let's put her in cuffs. Let's take her to jail and all this. And he's like, hold on. Let's see let's try to find out what's really going on here. And I'm like, and I even thought in my just real quick, I said, does she have a twin? I don't know why I did, but I was like, yeah, like maybe there's somebody that looks like her out there doing this because she doesn't seem she was so angry that she murdered a Jedi and now she's going, what? And she's just doing, the best acting job in the world covering up her murderous
Hmm.
ways.
Yeah, so they do take her into custody, John, and of course, as she's en route to Coruscant to get interrogated, uh, a bunch of other people that are also on that vessel decide they want to do a jailbreak because they're not going. Uh, that jailbreak seemed pretty terrible, John.
Has anyone ever had a successful prisoner transport in Star Wars?
Never.
Um, what's the guy that just was able to like tap into the prisoner that was able from a cell to gain control of the entire ship. No one thought that somehow he needed to be like a little bit more
Yeah,
secured. Like I don't understand. I don't even know what to call it. Like I don't even know what to say. Yeah, definitely should have just brought her back to Coruscant by herself, Yord.
yeah, or
But
even just even just put a human co-pilot in there, like just
right,
one. Yeah, because
one.
yeah, we've got a guy that can control robots, so maybe we bring a human co-pilot as well, just to be on the safe side. No,
Yeah,
it's gonna.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that was a dumb move. Of course, very predictable that something like this would happen. Because I immediately in my head when she got put on this transport, I felt like okay, she's going to escape this and have to try to clear her name or whatever. And obviously that's not exactly what we got, but like, my thought was okay, like what's going to happen here? She's going to get away from this and she's going to be on the run or something like that. Um, But I don't know, this whole thing was a mess. I gotta be honest though, a lot of people have been saying online they don't like Yord. I do like Yord, I think he seems like a little bit of a doofus, but I think he's a good guy. So I am part of the Yord horde.
Oh,
Yord
really?
horde.
I mean, he's got a cool yellow lightsaber. I understand.
Yeah.
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 And I think you'd look good with that Yord hairstyle.
Hmm. Thank you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
No, he's there to look pretty and mug at the camera and go, "Oh
Yeah,
my God, take the prisoner," you know.
there was that scene where I'm like, did we need to see that? Where when they're going to get Osha on the planet she's stranded on, that he's just sitting there shirtless, kind of just misting his Jedi robes. What? All right.
I'm like, okay, K-pop, do you, man? It's like,
Well, I guess in a way though, it does actually like kind of illustrate, right? One of the larger problems with the Jedi and how we do get eventually to the prequels and the collapse of the Jedi Order. It's like that it like helps sort of show off that vanity, right? A little bit of like this guy coming. I don't know. I thought it was a fun little way to like show something like that. Like, look at how vain this guy is. So full of himself. Wants to do everything by the book. Like, like I don't know.
yeah.
So
He said that whatever the Jedi equivalent of P90X is, he's doing it.
P90s.
So I guess the big thing too is that, as Osha says that she's somebody that left the Jedi teachings, who left the academy before she completed her training. It's always curious to see just how adept she is in the Force. And when we see the ship going down, she tries her best to summon her little pocket tool droid Pip to her, to no effect. So. Uh,
Mhm.
Kim, are you getting shades of Sabine in this in terms of like how
Oh,
we're
big time. Yeah.
expecting her? She's like kind of says she's got some force sensitivity, but it's going to take a while before we actually see her in action.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody is going to be as strong as, Ray, where it's just this natural thing that she was born with that she doesn't know that she has. And there are, I mean, in the Harry Potter world, there are people called squibs that are born to a magical family, but they don't possess the abilities. They don't get a Hogwarts letter. And so it's kind of the same thing. I mean, there's got to be, not every Jedi can be just like right out of the gate super good at this.
Yeah.
John, how are you liking the do you kind of find a Sabine kind of correlation with her?
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny too, because like when we met Sabine in Ahsoka, we know that she had done some training with Ahsoka. Um, so I'm curious though to see. I hope we get a couple of, it doesn't have to be a lot, but maybe one or two flashbacks of Osha younger training with Saul in the Jedi Temple. And I'd be curious to see how far her training actually got and what that, some of those interactions are like, because I wonder like what her abilities are. Like I wonder if she left the order and had such bad feelings that she's been like fighting against using you know what I mean? Like maybe she has more abilities than we see right now, but she's been kind of suppressing them because of the memories she has of the order. And it sounded that it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think was it did they say that it was Undara that like suggested, recommended that OSHA stop her training, right? Like I wonder if she has sort of pushed that down and it's weakened her abilities because of that also. So she might end up being a real badass, eventually we'll see.
Uh Yeah, no, that it does make sense. Like, yeah, she's letting Indara kind of say like, oh, she said I was terrible at the Force. I guess I am. So, you know,
Right.
what's the point of me trying to be good? And plus, I mean, I suppose in that moment as you're hurtling down to crash in in your uh spaceship,
Yeah.
maybe that's not the best time to go like, oh yeah, yeah, let me see if I can tap back into that Force stuff again from 6 years ago.
Right. Because yeah, I think that's even who was I think Yord at one point was saying like, oh, like, well, she could still be responsible for Indara's murder or whatever. She had training. And Saul was like, she hasn't trained in 6 years. Like, and she was kicked out of the order, like, because she wasn't good enough. Like, this is somebody that
Yeah.
we got rid of, we rejected, and they haven't trained in 6 years. So, like, calm down. Like, but I don't know.
He just needs to sit there and be pretty. It's like, come on, just sit there and be pretty, honey.
I
Well,
still
as
think that
well.
Yord is going to do something good in the end, though. I do.
Yes,
I think
I
he's going
hope
to do something good
so.
in the end.
Because he's a
Uh,
himbo right now, but it's like maybe he'll, I don't know. He has a hidden talent.
You'll
I
all
don't
be
know
part of
what it is.
the Yord horde.
the,
You'll be part of the
The
Yord
Yord
horde soon enough.
Horde.
there's going to be something where he's going to need to flex. If there's somebody, like the only way we can stop this is by like flexing. Like, oh, you've got the red Jedi here. Let me take off these robes and get to
There
work.
it is. That's it.
Uh, One thing I do like about the Star Wars universe, though, is just the variety of different types of droids that you see. And once again, I'm very intrigued by Osha's uh, tech droid that she's got, like Pip. I
Yeah,
find
Pip.
the multi-use tool-esque-ness nature to Pip really interesting. John, what'd you think?
Oh, I love Pip already. I love Pip. It's gonna take a while for him to really rise up the ranks, but it's just such a cool little gadget. Is it a droid? I mean, it's a droid, right? But it doesn't feel like a droid in a way. I don't know. Like this is something that's like brand new, right? I feel like we haven't seen this type of little gizmo yet in Star Wars, right? So what's funny is like, oh, it's new, but it's also this is like the earliest live action Star Wars we've ever seen. So actually, I guess it's the oldest thing we've seen. But I don't know. I really, really like Pip.
I do
Yeah,
too.
yeah, because there's a sense where it's different than other droids you've seen, where there are more mobile or doing stuff, and yet Pip is just essentially a tool, but has personality.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a little Swiss Army knife, but a droid.
right. Swiss Army
He's,
knife, but a droid. I like it.
he's Swiss Army knife, but a droid.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
can, he's super handy.
What
very
was
cool.
uh, what was little Leia's droid again called
Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
in Kenobi?
can't
Yeah.
remember. I can't
Because
remember.
I guess I would compare it like those. I feel like they're the most similar droids to each other. I guess because like they're both kind of little gadgets. They don't really, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's the most similar
That's a good
that
Yeah.
I can think of.
John.
Yeah,
See, that's
but
why you're not just a pretty face, John Dunphy.
well, thank you.
So yes, we in terms of other great casting that we've had for the show, we've got Master Saul, played by Lee Jung Jae from Squid Games. He's
Hmm.
doing this. Uh, Admittedly, English is not his first language, so I feel
Mm.
like that also kind of plays into the performance of this role because it does feel very kind of a slower paced delivery, which for a Jedi can kind of meld well into it. But Kim, how are you enjoying his performance so far?
So far, I think he's really good. He's definitely. I think he's mastered enough of English to um, just have real feeling behind his words, um, a- and I think just kind of the lines being delivered a little slower. He's a very thoughtful Jedi, so it fits. So I think they made it fit, and it was a good choice.
Yeah, admittedly, John, I think I mean, I would know I would be challenged if I had to kind of deliver a performance while also speaking in a tongue in a language that I'm not comfortable with. How did you think
Yeah,
he did?
he's my favorite part of the show. So,
Really? How come?
yeah, I just love his performance. Like the delivery of everything I think is perfect. And I know that some of it has to do with the fact that English is his second language. So it's like uh it's maybe a little bit more of a struggle for him, but like there's nothing I wouldn't change anything about his performance anyway. The way he speaks, the pace he speaks at, the tone of his voice and everything. I read online actually that this actor was actually very taken by Qui-Gon Jinn and was very influenced by him. And Qui-Gon Jinn is like one of my favorite Jedis, if not my favorite Jedi. So like, and I feel like he's kind of gotten that sort of down pat too, like the way he delivers the character. So um, everything about Master Soul so far has been basically my favorite part of the entire show, honestly. So
Yeah, yeah. For every bad feeling I get from Carrie Ann Moss's character, I get good feelings from his.
yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
interesting with the two of them too, because when who was it? Vernestra was telling Soul, right, about like how a former Jedi Padawan, Osha, is accused, or she's a suspect in the murder of Endara, or whatever. And you got that line from Soul being like, no, she would never kill Endara because she looks at Endara and me as protectors. And so just thinking about Osha, even her character potentially at some point in the past, being torn in two by these two characters, if there's something shady going on with Endara, and if Soul is more of like the light side and like she sees them both as protectors. I don't know. Even that's kind of like an interesting little aspect
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Yeah, and sure enough, what I do like is that we were talking about, oh, is it going to be a fugitive on the run story? I'm glad that it did not turn into that. I mean,
Mm,
very quickly,
yeah.
Yeah.
we kind of sorted out that nope, Osha, while she looks like May, was not the one that actually killed Indara. But they do track her down on the ice planet. They reunite with her and Soul. And then they find out, like, hey, we've got a lead on May, and it looks like she's going for Master Tobin, who we do see, as John referenced earlier, May sneaking into the Jedi temple that he's at, trying to kill him, and he's just sitting there meditating with just like a great widow's peak and some face scars, and just a giant force bubble just rocking around him. And it wasn't until the third episode that I realized, like, okay, now I know why they gave him all that. They gave him all that widow's peak and face damage just to be able to show like a nice time gap between what we see him as a young Padawan to where we see him 16 years later. Uh, Tim, how did you like seeing May's attempt at trying to get to Master Tobin?
I thought that was very interesting because I had not I'm don't play video games, but I think his meditative state is from a video game. But correct me if I'm wrong. So I had never seen a Jedi basically kind of taking a vow of silence and meditation and seclusion like that before. And I was like, oh, I didn't know they did that. And I'm like, that's just a level of thoughtfulness and meditation that I will never, ever, ever achieve. I'm so easily distracted. It's like, no, no, it's not going to happen. I would already be like, okay, look, don't kill me. Okay. I'm sorry. I would have immediately come out of it and gone, look, no, no, no.
John, how'd you were you impressed by Master Tobin's prowess in the Force?
Definitely. This was really interesting to me to see. I mean, and again, like part of the reason I love this show, like it feels so new and like this is something that I'd never seen before. So this felt really new and was like very interesting. Um, it was funny to me? Like, so as May is trying to attack Torben and like all of her attacks are just getting deflected by this invisible force field, like it made me think about how powerful this vow must be because it like the only thing that I could think of that it really reminded me of in Star Wars was in The Mandalorian when
Oh,
Grogu is sitting at that the
yeah.
remains of that temple, right, calling out to a Jedi to come and find him, and Mando kept trying to reach in to get him out because
I forgot about that.
yeah, and the Dark Troopers are on the way to come to come and take Grogu, and Mando just cannot penetrate this invisible force field. And that was like, so this Barash Vow, whatever I think it's called, right? Is the only like that's the only other thing that reminded me was this moment in Mandalorian to this, like this impenetrable force field made up of the force, like
Yeah.
so it must have been a very what did they say? He 10 years or whatever that nobody had spoken to him. So, I mean, for him to be in that state for all that time, that's wild.
Yeah, that's creepy. It's just creepy.
Yeah.
Uh, so that attempt fails. She takes off when another Jedi comes in. Yeah, and we do see that she's got an accomplice as well. She's got what's her name? Good old Manny Jacinto, who plays kind of I don't know exactly what his role is. I mean, I guess he's just like a I don't, a machinery and potions whiz. I don't know. John.
He seems like some kind of shady character. There's been a few different lines that have been like spoken. There was a point where he said to May, like, "Oh yeah, when you're in our line of work, or this or that," which made me feel like, is he the same? Is he a student? Like, are acolytes almost like Padawans? You know what I mean? Where it's like
Mhm.
you have got the Jedi Knights and you got Jedi Masters, you've got Jedi Padawans. Like, is it acolyte and then uh Master and then Sith Lord or whatever, Sith Master, Sith Lord, like, I'm like, I'm trying to think of, and these two, or is this guy, what's his name, Chimera or something like that, right? Something like that. Like, is he secretly the Sith Lord that May sees at one point and is talking to, and like he's just messing with her almost, like she thinks he's just some kind of friend or something. Like, I can't put my finger on exactly what he is, but he's clearly very talented when it comes to making poisons and
Yeah.
weapons, I guess. And it seems like this guy is her weapons person. So like whenever she needs something, she goes to him. But there's definitely more to him. Even the way that he interacted with the Jedi when they came and questioned him. Like, this isn't just some typical, and he even mentioned the whole gun running for the Hutts and all that. And he's got an interesting history that I want to learn more about.
Yeah, Kim, because it's not like he's not afraid to sell May out when he's put in a position by the Jedis. Yet, we do see that he's there helping her try to accomplish his goal of killing 4 Jedi Masters. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think his agenda is?
It may just be about the money. I don't know. That's that's the best I can come up with about him right now. But yeah, he's kind of mysterious because it's like, okay, you're gonna help poison a Jedi, but at the same time, you're also gonna turn in the person who poisons the Jedi because it will keep you out of trouble. And yeah, I feel like it's big just big scoundrel energy coming off him. We'll see where
I mean, I feel like Star Wars does need that because sometimes when it just gets so Jedi centric, you do need that like Han Solo, Lando Calrissian type character that kind of just
Mhm.
punctures it from the outside, just going like, what is this, all this force nonsense? Whatever it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me my credits and I'll
Uh,
be on my way.
well, he
That's why we
does
need
make
we
her.
need the mod squad.
That's right. He does make her a poison, which is used from some leaves from a tree that's from Brendak as well, Maya's home planet. And she gets back into the temple just as Sol and Osha and the rest of the squad arrive. And I leave it to the people working there at the Jedi Temple to take the most circuitous route to get to get to Master Tobin's room when like May
Yeah.
Osha's able just to just go like, oh wait, I'm seeing May as a kid. I'll just follow this and this will get me there super fast. Uh, John, were you surprised that they were not able to prevent Master Tobin's death?
I wasn't surprised that they weren't able to stop it from happening because of how dumb they decided to be when they took that ridiculously long route. The whole reason that, okay, this is like I love this show already. I am enjoying it. I am. I don't want to say like so many like bad things or whatever to like make fun of it, but this was dumb. There's been a break-in. There's been a break-in, and now there are more Jedi that have come from off-world to investigate this incident. And you take the longest route possible to talk to the person that you need to talk to. Like,
Oh God. Yeah.
that's just what I don't understand. It's like, listen, and like if she wanders off somewhere else and it's for some other thing and she looks suspicious or something else, okay, that's fine or whatever. But like, you're all walking to Torben's. She wanders off. She gets to Torben's faster. You all should have been going that way. Like, I don't think of it as like she did anything weird. I think that you are just stupid. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's weird.
It's like, and I don't even know why have these doors to the each of the Jedi Masters rooms when there seems to be just some stairs and like a back way in that has no sort of doorway or
Yeah.
enclosure or anything preventing anybody from just strolling in.
But a couple of guards.
Yeah.
You just had a break-in. Somebody just broke in.
So we do see May arrive at Master Tobin's room, Kim, and this time instead of fighting, she just says, "Hey, let me just put this poison on the ground. It's either you can drink it and deal with this, or you can talk to the Jedi and explain what really went down." Uh, and then Master Tobin, he drinks it. Were you surprised that Master Tobin just like this is what wakes him up, and that he drinks the poison?
Yeah, it was a shocker when he wakes up and he goes, I just want you to know that we thought we were doing the right thing and then dead. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like I definitely want to know more. I definitely want to know more. So I really loved going back in the third episode to the past to get an idea of what happened. We still don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do kind of wrap this episode by uh Osha, uh well, first Saul confronting Maya or May, and then Osha finally coming face to face May. And May surprised by that the fact that Osha is still alive. She thought that she was dead as well. So uh but we see when the two of them confront or see each other, uh Osho just kind of reluctantly fires a blaster. It doesn't seem like she was even trying to really hit her. Just kind of just like, I'm gonna just shoot near you,
Yeah.
just to make everybody else think I put some effort into this.
Yeah.
Uh yeah. Uh John, where did you think of the when finally we see Soul match up with May?
Ah, it was interesting. I just Soul is that one that like you could tell that he's thought about May, right? Even if Osha's the one that they took back to the Jedi Temple and got trained or whatever, he's never really forgotten about May all this time later. You know what I mean? So like that was definitely an emotional moment. That was interesting. I think it spoke to Soul and his character, and then seeing them actually see each other and her and May's realization that Osha really was alive too was. I think the show's doing a great job at setting up what's going to be, a great series.
I guess that's kind of the big thing is that we've got this murder mystery of sorts, and we've got four Jedis that were involved in something that happened on
Mhm.
Brendock with with all these witches and with May and with Osha. Given what you've seen so far, do you think all four are involved, or are some involved and some aren't?
Oh, I think yeah, some are, some aren't. I think it's definitely that, and I and I don't think that even though May was very very quick to light up the place like she did, I don't think it's 100% her fault either. But I feel like the guilt is making her just blind, like she has to blame somebody else because she literally set that fire, and so she's like she just has to push that out of her mind, but in the back of it is she's like I started this, I did this.
Uh,
So I
John,
think it's not all the Jedi did whatever they did. I don't think it was all of them.
uh,
I think
John,
I
we've got two Jedi down so far, and we've
yeah.
got a Wookiee Jedi, and we've got Soul. Uh, what are the odds that either one of them have had something to do with what happened, or do you think both of them or neither?
I honestly I don't think either of them were involved. It's so hard. Actually, I'm like thinking of the four that are there, right? Because we know uh Endara and Torben, right? The hat Endara was the master the Torben, right? He was her
Mhm.
Padawan. And so I'm wondering if it maybe could have been two and two, right? If maybe Torben knew what was going on, what Andara was doing, and that's why he felt so guilty and took this vow of silence for so long. And like, you know, and so Andara and Torben are in on it, but maybe Soul and what's the Wookiee Jedi's name? Kalnaka? No, that's
Yep. Kelnaka.
Yeah,
Kalnaka, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But so yeah, I don't know. Like I could see it being that way. I could also see, and this would honestly this would kill me, but I could see this being the case where Saul really truly is just like such a wonderful person. Great guy. He is a good guy, but maybe knows more than we realize. Maybe he kind of knew that Indara was up to something. Not exactly what it was. I could see it being like Kelnak is the only one that's totally clear and free. And Dara and Torben, there was something there. And Soul maybe had an idea but didn't do anything about it and now is living with the guilt of it or something. I could see
Mm.
that being kind of the way it shakes out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
could
like
see that too.
yeah, because I think it's tough to put a lot of the emotions on the Wookiee who really can't speak any language that we can fully understand. So to be able to give him any sort of like emotional subtleties or kind of stuff like that, it'd be like, no, I don't. So I think it's Soul's going to be the person that's got something to reveal. And it's weird because when he's with outside the Jedi Temple of Master Tobin's place speak to me, even though he's taken this vow or he's, doing this kind of, silent meditation. He will speak to me. I'm an old friend. So I feel like, Soul there the Soul knows that this all ties back into what happened 16 years ago. But I can't tell if that's just, hey, we were all there together, or hey, I was in on it too, and I know what's going on, and we should really talk.
Right. Huh. Oh, it's interesting. Oh,
I
man.
know. I have
Yeah.
no idea, and I love that I have no idea.
And that leads us into
Yeah.
episode 3, where we get to see what happened 16 years ago. Well, sort of. We get to see parts of what happened 16 years
Yeah.
ago on Brundok. And what was interesting, I thought about this, Kim, is that, May and Osha, for as much as talk about, they are twins, uh, we really see in this relationship, or in this episode, that their relationship was not as tight as you would think twins would be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it has something to do with they allude to, how they were created. So I think that's why one of them seems to be, little pyro happy, and the other one is, I would really like to go join the Jedi and be a good guy. And just why they really are polar opposites, and they just look alike, and that's where it kind of ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, because John, it's interesting where May certainly feels more of an attachment to Osha than Osha does to May. And if you kind of spin it out further and think if this is possibly Jedi, Sith kind of related, touch points to that, what does that mean about that? Where like the Sith is more invested and interested in the Jedi than the Jedi are in the Sith?
Right. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess it almost feels like it's the attachments, right? And a fear of losing the people that you love and fear leading to anger and anger leading to hate and going down that path, right? I mean, and like you look, so much of that third episode was May panicking about the fact that she might lose Osha, because she didn't want to be a witch, didn't want to be a part of the Coven, wanted to leave with the Jedi, and to the fact where she was telling Osha, "I'll kill you to keep you here," like, so yeah, I think it's an interesting, I guess, is this like one of those dyads, maybe? A dyad of
Right.
Mhm.
where we got a little bit of that right at the with the Force Awake no, with the Rise of Skywalker, I mean, with Ben Solo and Rey. Um Maybe it's something like that, I don't know.
Or like early cloning situation,
Mm,
and May was, not the intended outcome, but Ocha was. I don't know. I'm wondering if they're not actual twins, but if they're clones of someone else. Maybe there's a third person.
Right. I hope that they get more into this Coven of Witches in general. I personally love the Night Sisters. Um, and I've always liked seeing more stuff about the Night Sisters. So to see them in live action with Ahsoka was awesome. And I think it's really interesting that we got the introduction of a totally new coven in Tales of the Empire with that mountain clan on
Mhm.
Dathomir. And now we're getting another brand new coven of witches. So I hope we get to learn more about who they are and what their abilities really are and everything too. I think we're going to be back at Brendock again soon, seeing a different perspective of what happened on this night. Because we clearly
Yeah.
got a very, very incomplete picture of what happened. So,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's interesting like with this Coven that whether it's the Mountain Clan from because I did watch that this morning, this afternoon as well too, that Tales of the Empire episode.
yeah.
Uh, that or the Mountain Clan or Elsbeth's clan or this clan that we see on Brendock, that they all have different ways of kind of accessing the Force, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. I mean, or as on Brendock they call it, just like there's a thread in the universe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I loved, it's the same thing. I feel like we get that explanation of what the Force is, that it's this thing that ties us all together and binds us, and it's this, but so I feel like we do in a way hear the same thing over and over, but it is interesting to hear it coming from a different tribe of people and their own, hearing them describe it as this thread that ties us all together. Even just that, like I know it's the same spiel, but it's still fun that we're meeting a new group of people we've never seen before that are still affected by this thing that we know of, and they have their own way to describe it, and it's very similar to because that's I feel like that's a lot of a lot of times what happens in the real world too, right? And people want to compare their religions and stuff. You look at all the
Absolutely.
similarities, all these different people from different parts of the world, and yet somehow they follow this religion that's so similar in so many ways. And it's like so it's just another example of like this world building in Star Wars where you see that again here. So I'll never get tired of seeing stuff like this.
I will
Yeah.
say the one scene that kind of irritated me was uh when they're kind of in that practice area and May and Osha's mother is kind of showing practicing with two other individuals, but we just see May and Osha in the background just kind of pushing each other. Ugh, that was I was like, this is terrible. What are we watching?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. We had already gotten enough of the, oh, these are two kids that sometimes get along and sometimes don't. And right now they're not behaving, and it's like, all right, we don't need to do
Yeah.
all
It's
of
like,
this.
yeah.
Oh, yay. But we do see even for as much as they want to keep the May and Osha hidden from the Jedis and anybody else in the outside world outside the Coven, the Jedi have been kind of searching. We see Soul in the forest earlier in the episode, and then we do see the Jedi make a visit. And even though they try to hide them on the night of their ascension, and we see May go through the ascension, but before he gets to Osha, the Jedi fully arrive. And this dials into everything that Osha's looking for. She's wanting something different. She doesn't want to be just so connected to May. She wants to see what else is out in the universe. And so seeing the Jedi there, she's like, hey, yeah, that's what I'm into. Uh, Kim, feel like go through the ascension, but we don't see Osha go through it.
Yeah. I liked that because I was like, I don't think she's going to go through with it. I really don't. She wants something different out of her life. And it doesn't involve May necessarily. She just, it's almost like she's like, I know I'm supposed to be close with her, but I'm kind of scared of her and I don't want to frame my future life around her. I want to break away and do my own thing. And so I wasn't surprised at all when she just didn't, participate in the ascension. She started to sort of kind of, and then she was very relieved when it got interrupted.
And John, it seems to me where it's like the Jedi are supposed to be kind of like the defenders of, good and all this, that when it comes to other people practicing different ways of approaching the Force or interacting with it, or whether it be the Force or a thread or whatever, that when it comes to all these covens around the galaxy doing their thing, the Jedi kind of aren't big fans of them kind of practicing their kind of teachings in a way that is not in alignment with theirs.
Yeah, I didn't love this. I didn't love this at all about the Jedi. Even the first fight in the first episode with May and Andara when she calls in saying I have an unidentified Force user, as if like, this is someone we don't know about that's using the Force. This isn't allowed. It's just kind of like I don't really love that because like as the Jedi, they have to be aware that there are other people, different groups, like like this, the different covens or that are around that use the Force in different ways. So I feel like it's. I don't like that the Jedi I feel like that they have the only claim over this and that they should be aware of every Force user and things like that. Like I don't know. It was just kind of weird. It gives them a very like sort of police force sort of feeling to me, which I don't like. Um,
Yeah,
but
especially because it feels like, at least to me, all these covens want to do is just kind of be able to be on their own, live their lives, and just do their thing. They're not looking in terms of like galactic dominance or conquest or anything like that, where they're
right.
attacking other planets or robbing others or murdering or anything like that, where they just want to be kind of left alone to kind of do their own thing. Yet even that is still a bridge too far for the Jedi.
Yeah, yeah. Um, no, that was very interesting to me. I mean, even look at May, right? The one that we're worried about being this like more on the dark side, right? All she's really interested in is going through the ascension, being part of the coven, becoming a witch, and staying at home. That seems to all be all that she's interested in. She's like so desperate to not let Osha leave. Clearly, all that she's interested in, all this coven is interested in, is like preserving their way of life, making it better for themselves. So it is weird that the Jedi would even be here, sort of like snooping around, like, oh, we heard you might be training children. I mean, we don't know much about this group yet, I guess. Like it's interesting that Osha and May are the only children there, and it seems like maybe the only children there for a while. So, maybe that's what's throwing up the red flags or whatever. But I don't know. It just seems like to me, it's like what right do the Jedi have to come here and feel that they should be taking these children away from this coven, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Kim, because that's certainly one big draw for OSHA. Once they, the witches take May and OSHA to the Jedi ship to test them to see if they could be possibly Padawans. That
Yeah.
Soul talking to OSHA and saying like, "Oh yeah, we've got tons of kids around us. You would not be just the only child around." That seems really enticing to OSHA. That there's like, oh, there's other people like me that just aren't like my identical twin sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Not like my literal evil twin. They might actually be nice and not try to set things on fire when things don't go their way. Yeah. No, I totally understand that. I I
Hey,
get
Kim, do you have
that.
an evil twin?
I do not have an evil twin. That I know of. She may be
Right.
out there. I don't know.
Uh, so we do come to the point where that OSHA's like, all right, I'm out. She's packing up her bag, she's ready to go. But before she can head out, May shows up and says, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna burn you. If I have to, I'll kill you. So locks her in the room, sets fire to her book, and then just starts the whole thing going. And OSHA, showing her technical expertise, manages a way out of the room, but she's underground when we hear all this stuff going on. There is certainly more than this fire that's going on at the same time inside their camp. But we just see this tremendous kind of like or hear this tremendous kind of like explosion, sound, screams. Uh and then we find that May and Osha reunite underground near, I guess, like a power generator that explodes. And Soul shows up just in time to see May fall down the collapse out of her bridge, but does manage to save Osha. Uh, else dead. Uh, John, what do you think that it is that Soul, as far as we know, is the only Jedi that shows up there? And does that implicate him or exonerate him?
I have no idea. I'm dying to find out what it is. I have
Yeah.
no idea what happened here. Like I honestly have no good guesses for what's happening here. Okay, you know what? I'll take one little guess. I'm wondering if maybe like Soul was there, maybe some of the other Jedi around or whatever, but I'm wondering if they were coming in, May saw them, thought that they were going to do something bad, maybe, and so she set something off, and then it caused the Jedi to do something that made it even worse. I don't know. I just maybe it's the bad timing. I have no. Other than that, I have no guesses about what could possibly happen from when we see May outside Osha's door to then what ends up happening to everybody there. I just have no idea. I know that Torben was so cut up by it that he took a vow of silence for like a decade. But like
Mhm.
I have no idea what could have happened here.
I mean, I assume, Kim, the scars that we see on Torben's face are from whatever happened that night. I'm going to guess that. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
his widow's peak is as well. Maybe whatever did that kind of blow up the top part of his hair. So, uh, um, but regardless, we see everybody else is dead. All the other witches are dead, and it's just Osha, Soul, and we do know May survives. But I mean, that's certainly if is four Jedi's enough to take down, or like enough to take down like a whole coven of witches?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
Ooh,
know.
I've got a weird guess now. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
all
Okay.
right.
It was May. It was May. Here's what happened, right? May is like super powerful. So is Osha, right? So the Jedi were there. And you know how the one main head mother of the coven, right? She was being a little bit more hospitable to the Jedi, and then the other mother, the one that said she carried the twins, I'm forgetting her name. She had the spikes though.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
She steps in, she does something, she gets mad at the Jedi, right? She goes, "Get out of here." And then the Jedi kind of attack back, and May freaks out and like does something crazy with the Force, and it causes the whole temple to go up in flames or something. That's what it is. She can't control it,
Hmm.
you know?
That could be. That could very well be.
Yeah, I mean, we do see the tease of whoever this master is. We do see him just on the kind of rocky shores, where he just whips out that red lightsaber for a hot second, but so far away that we just don't really get a clear read on who this is, or what his deal is. Kim, based on the little snippet that we saw of he, uh, any kind of ideas of what his deal might be?
I have no idea. this is so just interesting and mysterious. And yeah, they have, they set up the story so well that you really are just kind of like, okay, I really want to see next week's. I'm excited. And yeah, I honestly don't know. I have no clue who this person is.
Yeah.
John, how about you?
I mean, there's a part of me that's like, oh, it'd be awesome if we got to meet Darth Plagueis, in
That would be
person.
cool.
Um, but I don't know. There's something that's making me feel like it's not gonna be Darth Plagueis. But I don't know. I'm definitely very intrigued by the character. I've seen a lot of people criticizing the way like the costume looks. I actually think the helmet looks pretty badass. Like that kind of that weird, sinister smile. I've seen some people calling it like calling that character like the smiling Sith, things like that. Like it's I don't know. I'm interested to learn more in this character. So it's doing
Yeah.
something right. There were a couple of moments. I would say one little critique about the show, I guess, is that there have been a few moments where it feels like shots ended very abruptly, where they could have maybe let it breathe a little bit. And one was with this character, with this red lightsabered character. We got, a little bit of dialogue, the ignition of the lightsaber, and it felt like it cut away a little too quick to me. I feel like some of these scenes can breathe a little bit more, but
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess it's, one of those things like we'll only know in retrospect in terms of how they're doling out information, whether, at the end of it, did it work successfully, or could they have kind of, front loaded a little bit more information to get us more invested in stuff at the end of the series as things are kind of coming to a head.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. But so far we've got 5 episodes left. As always with these Star Wars things, they're pacing not always the best in terms of how they kind of dole out information through the course of episodes. But Kim, based on just 3 episodes out of 5, how satisfied are you with the story's progress so far?
Extremely, definitely, yeah, 10 out of 10. Yeah, I really like the clip that it's moving at. And the fact that it's not revealing too much too soon. It's hit a nice balance.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
do.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say, like, it was funny because in the first 2 episodes, 2 of the 4 Jedi May had already killed, right? And I
Yeah.
felt like this is almost going too fast. But that was before we got episode 3, which was a lot more of a backstory between what had happened between May and Osha on their home planet. And now it's like, all right, well, we're almost halfway through the series. We've lost 2 of the 4. So whatever happens next, it feels like it's lining up. I didn't know how long we're gonna have to wait to have Osha and May see each other. It was happening right at the end of the first episode, right? Like um, it was like I feel like the pace has been good so far. It feels like now that almost halfway through the season, everything we've gotten is what I've wanted so far. I'm hoping that in the next episode, because I feel like we're going to revisit that flashback a little bit and see it from different perspectives. I don't know if I want that to be episode 4 though. Like, I almost kind of want to get caught up to the present day now in episode 4, and then maybe episode 5 go back to that flashback and maybe see what happened from the 4 Jedi's perspective or something. Um, so yeah, I don't know yet. I'm kind of thinking what I'd like rather than going right back to Brendock is catch up with our characters in present day in episode 4, and then episode 5 go back to Brendock, and then episode 6, 7, 8 is like a, you know, last 3 episode arc. Let's get to the end of this series or the season.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like a lot of it's going to rest in Soul's hands because as the only remaining Jedi who can vocalize in a way that we can understand, uh, we need him kind of either to justify actions that maybe the 4 Jedis together took, or be surprised to learn like what really happened on Brendock as well, if he thought too that it was just a fire. So yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of it's going to ride on him to kind of be our gonna to kind of help us kind of process everything that happened on Brendock that night.
No.
Mhm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. We did it. We made it through. We didn't need James Lott Jr. here coming in, telling us about Star Wars. Oh, wait, what?
Like,
But wait.
like all the Darths before you, I can hear everything. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to our Star Wars Acolyte Aftershow. Oh, we already did that already. Okay. Thank you for watching our show, you guys. And Frank, as usual, you're the wonderful lead host.
James, given our just joyful discussion of this, are you more or less excited to watch these first 3 episodes?
I'm more excited because I'm reading the High Republic books, so I'm excited. I mean, I know a little more. Some of the history. We have a couple of new ones that came out the other day too. There's a bunch of actually. Here's a little plug. My other show, Darth Vader is Your Father. Check that out next week. We talk about all the new comics and books that have come out in the last week or so that are Star Wars related. But
Cool.
I love the books. I'm a big book fan, so I'm glad that they are doing something else. Like you said, there's no Skywalkers, or there's other parts of there's other time periods and parts to talk about. So I'm extra more excited. Extra more. That's some good English. Extra excited to So check it out. Hear more.
Sweet. Well, and you will hear James Lott Jr.'s hot takes on all of the accolades so far. Hopefully next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on JLJ Media. But in the meantime, Kim, if they want to follow you elsewhere on social media to hear about anything else you may want to opine about, where can they find you?
I have actually done a brand change. So
Ooh.
yes, I'm on all socials as Nerdy Sparkle Goth.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
nice.
yeah,
Oh.
streamlined it a little bit. And my website is nerdysparklegoth.com, and that can take you go there, and there's link trees and whatnots and stores and things and hey and yeah,
We
all
like
the
Hey Hey. Who
things.
doesn't like Hey Hey?
All the hey.
Yes, sure. John Dunphy, if they want to follow you and all your podcast shenanigans, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at jdunn89. That's first initial, first three letters of my last name, 89, jdunn89. And then if you want to listen to a podcast, from three silly people that like to watch reality TV, you can find us at Strat Chat Pod. That's strategy chat, but remove the EGY pod at Strat Chat Pod.
I'll never get it.
John, are you covering the GOAT?
We are currently discussing only the Challenge All-Stars 4 on the Strat Chat podcast. We'll, of course, be picking up Big Brother 26 when it starts next month. And we will be at the premiere event in New York City, hosted by Azza from Big Brother. So we'll be there. We're very important.
Hopefully I can come on your show again like I did last time.
Cool.
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me?
And is Challenge USA is coming back this summer, isn't it? Or no?
What's that?
Is the Challenge USA coming back this summer?
I haven't heard anything about the Challenge USA lately.
Come on, TJ, get it together, buddy.
I know. Well, they've got Challenge 40. Season 40 is coming up soon. They've been, it's a big anniversary for them. So,
you can find me on social media there at Happy Go Jackie, and X-Men 97 out on Disney Plus for all of you to put your eyeballs on. And I think they just got to put pre-order information on. If you like soundtracks, the Newton Brothers X-Men 97 soundtrack is available for pre-order on vinyl, so you can play it on,
cool.
you can play it on your good old tabletop turntable.
I have one. I'm that old. I have one.
Oh, well, this is catered directly to you, James Lott Jr.
I do like the theme song. The theme song does kick. It works.
Yeah.
I like the theme song.
It's good. It's really good.
And James Lott Jr., where can they find you?
Well, I should say
they don't know.
Well, you can follow me where all James Lott Jr. sold, or maybe not, at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. John, I might be busy. I guess I don't have it. I think I'm sold out. I was saying it for 10 years. I guess I'll keep saying it. And you can follow me all over the place, James Lott Jr., JLJ Media, all over the place. We have other Star Wars shows, so check those out too. Just type in a Star Wars show wherever you find these podcasts or JLJ Media, and you'll find us.
That's true. Ladies and gentlemen, until next Wednesday, may the force be with you always.